Good morning. Welcome to the First Unitarian Society. My name is Kelly Asperuth Jackson, and I am one of the ministers here. This morning, I am joined by my colleague, the Reverend Kelly Crocker, and by the worship team of Linda Warren, Drew Collins, Stephen Gregorius, and Daniel Carnes. And of course, with special thanks to our society choir, to Philip Delaquis, and to Marilyn Chahaney for the beautiful music today. The vision of FUS is growing souls, connecting with one another, and embodying our UU values in our lives, our community, and our world. If you are visiting us today, welcome. We are so very glad that you are with us. If you would like more information about First Unitarian Society, I hope you will stop by the welcome table, which is located in the Commons just through those doors and to your left. And now, I invite you to join me in a moment of silence as we center ourselves and bring ourselves fully into this time, as we join together once again in community.
To declare with joy our resilience, to proclaim on purpose we have survived the pandemics of our time.
We have survived, we are surviving. We have pivoted and we have planned and then replanned and then thrown all plans to the wind.
In this circle, we will say without shame, some days we lost our way and our passwords, and we have not always been our best selves. We are learning, and not always quickly, to regroup and remember perfection was never the point.
We are here because we long to try again, to promise with people to be partners in this long-haul work of loving and becoming, even while we grieve also the cost, which is not small and lingers in our hearts and turns only sometimes to rage.
Here, let your body tell the truth. Shake free the stories that live in your skin. Breathe in your beauty and breathe out your burdens. Breathe in our beauty and breathe out our burdens.
Be here with it all, with all of us in the freedom of this new day. The sun is breaking through, and this new day dawns for us all. Come, let us worship together.
And we invite you now to rise in all the ways we do, joining together in our words of affirmation as we light our chalice. To face the world's shadows, a chalice of light. To face the world's coldness, a chalice of warmth. To face the world's terrors, a chalice of courage. To face the world's turmoil, a chalice of peace. May its glow fill our spirits, our hearts, and our lives.
And now let's sing together our opening hymn, number 20 in the Gray Hymnal, Be Thou My Vision.
Please be seated. So, we need your help today. We are going to show you images of doors, and we need you to tell us what the place is and why you might choose to go through those doors. So here's the first one. It's the library. Why might you go through the doors of the library? Get a book. Why else? Computer? Pay your fines, John said. To vote. That's right. That's right. You vote at the library. Okay, all kinds of reasons to go through the library doors. What's next? All right, what's that one? Elementary school. And so at 9 a.m. we said, why would you go through these doors? And a 12-year-old said, it has no purpose. Okay. Yep, everybody guessed he was 12. Why do you go through the doors of an elementary school? Learn. What was that, Zach? Also to vote, right. Some of us voted elementary schools, right. To teach. To be a school nurse, maybe. All right, what's our next one? We're good at this, okay. A doghouse. Why might you go through those doors? What's that, Rob? What's that? Because of? Being naughty.
Yeah, in the
Okay.
doghouse.
Rob is the first one to get the double meaning of the doghouse. Thank you, Rob. All right, our next one. The grocery store. Why do we go through those doors? Food. Coffee. Absolutely. All right. Next up, a bike shop. Why go through those doors? Get your bicycle fixed. Get a new bike. All right, what one's next? A barn. Why would we go through the doors of a barn? Milk the cows. For a wedding. That's a new one, Kim. For a wedding. She's not wrong. It's true. A square dance. Oh, these are good. These are new ones. Okay. Kids were more focused on cleaning up from the animals. All right. What's our next one? Ice cream. Why would we go through those doors? What's that, Barb? Treats? Ice cream. They also, if you don't know, they have some of the best birthday candles. See, it's not just ice cream. All right, next one. Close. The Metropolitan Museum of Art. Right, so it's a museum. Why would you go through the doors of a museum? What's that? To see artifacts. Education. There's Roz. I know that voice. A conference. That's a new one. What did they say this morning? Dinosaur bones.
Yes, dinosaur bones.
We had a distinct audience. All right, what's our next one? A playhouse. Why would you go through those doors? A tea party. Yes, to play. All right, and our next one. What? Oh, Barb's like, now I see where this was going. All right, what are these doors? That's us. Why might you come through these doors? All of the above. Why do we come here through these doors? Fellowship.
Support.
Thank you. Community. Inspiration. Coffee. Music. Learning. Wisdom. Teaching. So many good reasons. All right, I love all of those reasons and more. Thank you for playing our game of What's Behind Door Number 1.
I invite you now into this time of giving and receiving, where we give freely and generously to this offering which sustains and strengthens our community here, and also our outreach offering recipient, who this week is the Mount Zion Baptist Food Pantry, which provides quality food items to households experiencing food insecurity. This program supplies critical nutrition to hungry individuals and families, With the rising cost of food, the pantry has seen a sharp increase in need in our community and can use assistance from everyone. There are multiple ways to share your gifts this morning. Baskets are now being passed for cash or checks, or as you'll see on the screen, you can donate directly from our website, fusmadison.org, and find the text to give information there as well. Thank you for your generosity and your faith in this life we create together.
Thank you. The author and poet Mark Nepo shares the following story. An old friend drove me into the Santa Fe National Forest so we could walk the aspen grove. We stopped along the way to smell some ponderosa pine. I stuck my nose into the crease of its bark and cupped my hands around it. The tree smelled like vanilla. We continued up the mountain. At an altitude of 10,000 feet, the temperature dropped 30 degrees. The air was clear. Walking into the grove, which covers almost 200 square miles, we could see Santa Fe and Los Alamos. We could even see Arizona and Colorado. The path was lined with small red feathery clusters known as Indian paintbrush. Soon the tall, thin aspens were everywhere, their smooth bark stretching like skin to the sky. The continuous rustle of their leaves was like an ocean of small voices arriving through the centuries. If we could just make out their cry, their song, and understand their brilliance. Walking among them, touching them, listening to their creak and sway, I could feel their connectedness. Above ground, aspens grow as individual trees, but below ground, they are enlivened by one interconnected set of roots. They are the most expansive growth of trees to share a common root system. This means they are one living organism and one living community at the same time. This is a powerful metaphor for how inextricably knit the life of the individual is with the life of community. What happens to one tree happens to all in the grove. In the Fish Lake National Forest in Utah, there's an aspen grove named Pando, Latin for I spread. Considered one of the largest aspen groves in the world, it contains about 47,000 individual trees and is estimated to be about 80,000 years old. Shared roots live longer, a lesson for us all. About a mile into the Santa Fe Grove, my friend and I sat on a ledge and waited. Once we were quiet, we could feel the entire grove sway as one timeless aspen and as 1,000 individual trees on a mountainside in New Mexico. We could almost hear them breathe in unison. I felt certain that in the paradox of the aspen waits the secret to our interdependence, being who we are and staying connected. As we walked back to the car, the path was alight with tiny butterflies circling our feet. Each seemed to hold a question about how to live this way. After a while, my friend said, "There is a community already existing underground that is growing us into being." Shared roots live longer. As we look at resilience this month, the ability to recover from losses and challenges, hardships in this life, moving forward in positive ways, I thought of this image from Mark Nepo and the aspens. We know the truth of shared roots. It's why we come together in community through these doors week after week. We know how inextricably knit our lives are with one another. We know how important community is in developing resiliency in our own lives. As the American Psychological Association wrote in a report on human resilience, many studies show that the primary factor in resilience is having caring and supportive relationships within and outside the family. Relationships that create love and trust, provide role models, and offer encouragement and reassurance, all these help bolster a person's resilience. This thinking of trees and resilience reminded me of Jane Hirshfield's poem, Optimism. More and more I have come to admire resilience. Not the simple resistance of a pillow whose foam returns over and over to the same shape, but the sinuous tenacity of a tree. Finding the light newly blocked on one side, it turns in another. A blind intelligence, true. But out of such persistence arose turtles, rivers, mitochondria, figs, all this resinous, unretractable earth. The sinuous tenacity of a tree. This is the resilience we have developed together as we have adapted and changed, turning and turning again and again as we have lost the light on one side and needed to turn and find it on another. This is the resilience we learn together, grounded in those shared roots that hold us tight like the love that will not let us go, as we bend and sway and learn how not to break, leaning into one another when we think we will fall, reaching down into that soil when we need to be nourished, knowing we are an individual tree, yet also knowing in our bones that we are so deeply connected. This is the resilience we need. But today I want to ask a different question. If coming together in community helps an individual build resilience, what creates resilience for the community itself? What nurtures and sustains resilient communities? When I was in college and discerning my call to ministry, I reached out to our campus minister, a man named Phil. I met with him and told him my story. Raised Roman Catholic, always wanted to be a priest, not quite sure what to do with that particular longing. You see the problem. Phil was a Roman Catholic himself. He could have very easily tried to persuade me to look into other opportunities for leadership within the Catholic Church. But he didn't. He asked me to come and be his intern for the coming year, working alongside him in ministry, supporting my fellow students. Stick your toe in the water, he said. See how it feels. My favorite memory of that year was our spring break trip to Baltimore, Maryland. We were to work with Catholic Charities with a small group of Franciscan sisters who ran a food pantry, a soup kitchen, a clothing shop, and a shelter. They were small in number, but they were mighty in faith and deed. Phil and the other students on the trip all stayed in a hostel. For some reason, I never asked why, Phil had me stay in the small home shared by the sisters. It was a brilliant week, learning and living the rhythm of their days. And on one night, after a particularly long day in the soup kitchen, I found myself unable to sleep. So I got out of bed and I went downstairs to their tiny living room that contained the world's oldest exercise bike, 2 wooden rocking chairs, 1 recliner that everyone knew was always reserved for the eldest sister, and a television that still had knobs. I padded out of the kitchen with a cup of tea, and I found one of the sisters in the living room. "Can't sleep?" she asked. I shook my head. "Pull up a chair," she said. "Tell me what's on your heart." So I told her that I was amazed by the work that they did, all of the people that they helped. But they were so few in number, and the need was so very great. How did they not give up? How did they not get discouraged when it felt like the tiniest drop in the world's largest bucket? And her eyes glistened and she said, "Well, my dear, that's quite simple. It's our mission." I must have looked confused because she said, "Cherishing the divine within all. That's our mission. It's easy to remember, it's easy to understand, and it is so very hard to live." When I joined this order and took on this work, those words, cherishing the divine within all, were tattooed on my heart. That's true for all the sisters here, all the volunteers, all the people who donate to keep our work going. We try to remember that every person we meet holds the divine spirit within them. We live from that place. We work from that place. Our hearts beat with the rhythm of that mission. It keeps us going, even on the hardest of days. A compelling mission makes for a resilient community. For the past few months, we have had a mission and vision task force working on new statements for us. They have listened to you, read your comments, uncovered themes in what they were hearing, have spent more hours than I can tell you in discernment and discussion. And they have written drafts of a vision and a mission statement for First Unitarian Society. You may be wondering the difference between the two, so I'll remind you. Mission seeks to answer the questions: why do we exist? What is our purpose? Whom do we serve? Vision asks us, what is the picture of the future that we want to create? What or who do we want to become in the next 5 to 10 years? Together, they give a community purpose and meaning, a sense of who they are and who they're trying to become together. As I learned from that sister in Baltimore so many years ago, a compelling mission can make all the difference. Our actions need to be consistent with our mission and embody it. Every one of us, from the smallest to the tallest, can tell one another who we are and why they choose to be here, why they come through these doors. Mission is our reason for being. Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, author of The Little Prince, is quoted as saying, "Love does not consist in gazing at each other, but in looking outward together in the same direction." It is the same with a community that seeks to make a difference in the world. We must be looking outward together in the same direction. This is a shared vision. It is lofty, it is inviting, it is full of promise and hope. It must be shared so that it creates a passion in a people to bring it to life. Vision is the direction we want to go. Vision is our compass. Vision says, here is the world that we want to build. And mission says, here is how we're going to try and get there. One of the hopes for this process is that we have a mission statement that is tattooed on your heart and my heart and the heart of everyone who walks through these doors. We hope it is empowering, engaging, points out our growing edges, where we have work to do, and that it keeps pushing us forward. Alice Blair Wesley, our colleague in the UU ministry, in a 2001 lecture to her colleagues, summarized her thoughts this way: strong, effective, lively, liberal congregations, sometimes capable of altering positively the direction of their whole society, will be those communities whose members can say clearly, individually and collectively, what the work is that is theirs to do and how they are going to do it. Communities gazing together in the same direction with purpose and passion, doing the work that is theirs to do, can change lives and change communities. When I first came to Unitarian Universalism, honestly, it was the original historic mission of the Universalists that tattooed itself on my heart. The belief in universal salvation, that all souls would be returned to the divine, is what makes us now, as Kelly mentioned 2 weeks ago, the love people. The ones who believe in changing the world through an abundant, unapologetic, and liberating love. This universalist theology that all are loved, all are worthy, all belong. This is what brought me here. This is what keeps me here. It's what lives in my heart and grounds my days. Our mission and vision task force asked you, what keeps you here? What grounds you in this community? What matters? Where do you want us to go? Who do you want us to be here together? Some of what they heard. We want to be bold and courageous and challenge our comfortable ways. We want to evolve and adapt, grow and change. We want to be a place where our minds and hearts are expanded each time we participate in community. We want to listen across differences. We want to have a dynamic commitment to justice. We want to live from love, not fear. We want to be a place where everyone belongs. We want to question, to learn, to be humble in the face of what we do not yet know. These are your words. The task force took the hundreds of responses and distilled your words down into the essences of what they heard. For our vision for who you want us to be in the next 5 to 10 years, they heard that you desire a safe, welcoming, and active community, that you want to courageously and collectively work for justice, and that you hope to inspire personal and spiritual growth. For our mission, who you think we are. They heard a longing for connection and community, welcome and belonging, to live our values through action and courage, to listen and learn, to ask important questions and with curiosity and humility, admit that we do not have all the answers, to grow spiritually, growing into our best selves, challenging ourselves and one another to be who we know we can be, who we want to be, who this world needs us to be. In the next few weeks, you'll be hearing from the task force. They have draft statements that they'll be sharing with you. Please read them with an open mind and an expansive heart. Sit with them. See what sparks for you. Then attend a feedback session and hear what others around you are saying and share your thoughts as well. The final statements will be voted on at our May 21st parish meeting, and we hope that you will continue to engage in the process until and at that meeting. The wisdom of the aspen trees is that even though they look like individual trees, below ground they are one interconnected system. They remind us that shared roots live longer. Those roots that ground us, connect us, remind us of the truth of our interdependence. We know that humans with these shared roots are more resilient. These roots that hold the sinuous tenacity of the tree, that help us to bend, adapt, turn again and again toward the light. here in community our roots, what keep us resilient, what will keep us able to adapt and bend and change and grow and stay nourished and strong, facing the winds of change together without breaking, are our shared vision and mission. Powerful reminders of why we are here, what we hope to do, who we want to become together. May we feel the power of these hopes and dreams. May they be our grounding place. May we live from that place. May we work from that place. May our hearts beat with the rhythm of that mission. It will keep us going and keep us together, even on the hardest of days.
The fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, friendliness, gentleness, and self-control. The fruits of the Spirit of God are these.
Each week we gather, carrying in our hearts the joys and the losses of our days. We hold our own pain and celebration together with those of the ones we love. We share these here, knowing they are held gently in care and support and in love. We light a candle of memory and sorrow for Marion Meyer, who passed away on February 5th. Marion moved to Portland, Oregon several years ago to be near her children. She was a longtime member of FUS, active in many programs, including the Friends of the Meeting House. There will be a celebration of Marion's life held in Madison in August. We light a candle of grief for former UW Chancellor Rebecca Blake, who died on Friday. May her memory be for a blessing. We light a candle of celebration for Franz and Eleni Musarad-Varga, who close on their first home on March 2nd. Congratulations to them. And we light a candle of great joy and celebration for Hathaway Hassler, who has her 100th birthday coming up this week. Happy birthday, Hathaway. And one candle of joy and appreciation for our society choir, who had to miss 2 rehearsal dates in a row in preparation for this service due to the vicissitudes of weather in Wisconsin, but nonetheless persevered, demonstrating their resilience. There's that word again. Thank you so much for the beautiful music this morning. And final, yes, absolutely. And we light a candle in solidarity with the people of Ukraine, both in their suffering and in their struggle. Together we yearn for peace for them and for all people, and for an end to all wars of conquest anywhere and everywhere on earth. Please join me now for a moment of prayer with these words from Heather Ryan Starr. May I move gently through these cloudy, wintry, gray days. May I remember that each day is just one day, and that showing up is at least half of what is asked of me. May I set aside my underlying anxiety that I will not get to everything and put my trust and faith onto the riverbank of human community. We are working together. I am not alone. There is a love holding me that is unconcerned with my day's to-do list and more concerned with my spirit's survival, even its thriving, in this beautiful, challenging world. May we all remember that Rome wasn't built in a day, that our efforts are part of an ongoing stream of efforts, of lives being lived beside one another, shoring up this world. May what little I do today be for the greater good. May I be gentle with others today as I long for others to be gentle with me. May it be so. Blessed be, and amen.
There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding all we rest in this love. And now let's rise in body and or in spirit to sing together our closing hymn and the gray hymnal number 128, For All That Is Our Life. For all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift which we are called to use to build the common good. For sorrow we must bear, for failures, pain, and loss, for each new thing we learn, for fearful hours that pass, we come with praise and thanks. For all that is our life, for all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift which we are called to use to build the common good and make our own ways good.
Resilience is not easy. Starting over is never simple, and yet it is the work that leads back to life. So trust that the seeds of hope are taking root even when the ground is cracked and dry. Believe that grace is hiding just around the bend. Know there is always a way forward, even if it's not the one you wished it would be. The lights never stay off, friends. The world is too wild for that. Life never wants to leave us behind, for there is something unruly and loving at the heart of it that is always sneaking in from the side, waiting for us to take its hand and dance. So be on the lookout, beloveds, as we go on our way. Blessed be, go in peace, and please be seated for the postlude. Thank you.
Yes, as we've been planning for months and hours and days.
And then we said,